Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Owlet Season 3.5. I am Chunk. With me here is Bishop. Say hi, Bishop.
Hello, Bishop.
You said hello, Bishop. That's not even hi, Bishop. How did you mess that
Oh
up?
my god, you're right. I'm sorry.
That is a tough start to the stream, but we will do our best to overcome it. We have a pretty great matchup here tonight between Velocity Force and TalonFire in the Miners division of Owlet Season 3.5. Bishop, why don't you tell us a little bit about both these teams and about the tournament for any viewers that aren't familiar?
Well, Owlet is split up into two divisions. We got the Majors division and the Miners divisions. Tonight, we have a Miners division matchup between Velocity Force and TalonFire. Both teams, even in the standings right now, both are 4-1. Velocity Fire has a map differential of 9, and TalonFire has a map differential of 6. Both are coming off of 3-0 victories. TalonFire defeated the Fire Nation 3-0, and Velocity Force defeated Vote Meme Today 3-0. Both of these teams sitting at 4-1 right now. Respectively, Velocity Force is sitting at number 2 in the standings, while TalonFire is sitting at number 4. They're looking to jump up a couple spots here, trying to take that number 2 spot in the standings tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be an important matchup here, especially with playoff implications on the line. We're going to get into the match very soon, and I believe our first map here is going to be Ilios. Now, Bishop, I used to play a lot of Overwatch. I used to catch a lot of Overwatch, but I've recently taken a step back from the game. Tell me a little bit about what you're expecting to see tonight in terms of heroes.
Well, Chunk, a lot has changed since you've last played. Shields are not as good as they once were. That popular double shield meta, it's on its way out. You're going to see most likely a lot of Roadhog, a lot of Zarya, and then as well, maybe a Winston in there as well. Expect a lot of hit scan. You're going to see a lot of Widowmaker, a lot of Ashe. Without those shields, those long distance shots from either the Widow, Ashe, or a Hanzo, really going to be extremely valuable. So I expect a lot of ranged fighting and a lot of poking around corners due to the lack of shields.
So yeah, that poke damage, it's going to be like sort of like a who can charge their ult up fastest sort of deal. I know we had a little bit of Genji in the meta for a little while as well. Is that still popular, or do you not really expect much Genji tonight?
Genji is still extremely popular. You're going to see, if they do pull the Genji out, you're going to see a lot of Nano Blades. You're going to see a lot of Baptiste trying to buy time with that Immortality field, trying to protect the teammates from that ulting Genji. But Genji, once again, it's a little bit on the way out. It's only really played right now with a Zarya, so you can give it a bubble. If your team's not running the Zarya Hog, running a Genji, more of a distraction than a total team-killing potential.
Right. Okay. So that makes a lot of sense to me. I understand that. And it seems like we are here on Ilios. Talked about the lack of shields. Seems like you're right. We do see that Zarya. We see a lot of long range here. Shadow on the Pharah here for TalonFire. And yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how these play out. It's going to be a bit of a Pharah battle in the sky.
Yeah, you're going to want to see Dark Ember is really going to need to get a lot of value on this Widow, try to deny Xion his ability to hover around. Xion's in a lot of trouble here, especially going up against a mirror matchup in the sky with Shadow and that Widow.
Yeah, that Widow could be a problem. It's going to be up to Reed, really, to put the dive, to put that power on him. Xenon takes that first hit in that Pharah duel. Ember getting down to half health, and it's going to be Holden on that ball, rolling in, taking a lot of damage, going to have to back out. Daz does find our opening pick in the matchup, though. Going to take out Clown Dog. Joe King strikes back, though, taking out Dark Ember. The res comes in for Kurtz, but Kurtz is going to pay for it with his life there. Holden and Daz trying to clean things up here, as it does seem like Velocity Force is going to be able to take this point. Not quite enough, though. Holden and Daz putting in a lot of work. It is going to go over to TalonFire, or to Velocity Force here early, but there may not be enough here for them to win the overall fight. The point is going to flip back, this time to TalonForce very quickly.
Yeah, that all comes on the back of Daz going on the big flanks, especially when you don't have a Roadhog mirror match. You can only rely on your Ana to either sleep or anti him. But as long as he's unmatched with tanks, he's going to have free range on these long flanking maneuvers he did around that medkit in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see, there's sort of a push here. Despite the anti, Reed is going to go forward here. Gonna get that Zarya bubble to clear that off, and Xenon gonna win that Pharah matchup. Joe King tries to go for the ult, but Daz going to take him down. Holden and Daz clearing a lot of space, doing a lot of damage on these tanks. Xenon now just flying around, taking out Angel. Kurtz with yet another res, really getting the most out of that cooldown there. This fight definitely seeming to go the way of Velocity Force. They're going to start trying to get some percentage on this point. Does seem like Daz and Holden, though, going to be holding down this point as best they can. Reed almost gets knocked off the map, going to stay on, though, using that jump with that monkey ult. Big barrage here from Xenon. He finds two. Daz and Holden, both those tank players going down. The point is finally going to flip here. 54%, not a bad start.
What an ultimate by Xenon to go in through that above part of the point, get a quick 2K on both of the tanks of TalonFire to collect a team wipe to secure the point. That is a great fair ult, especially when you're already down 2.
A lot of ults here coming in for TalonFire. It's an interesting play to nano that Pharah so early. Does get a lot of ult charge off of it. She now has barrage, maybe going to go for a mirror barrage. Bob popping off, going to take out Reed, but the picks are all going Velocity Force's way. Shadow gets 3 with the barrage, but Arian K is going to take him out. Seems like it's not going to be easy here. Daz sort of 1v3 here, gonna look for a pick, but not gonna find it. That is a tough stagger, as now the percentages are even on this Ilios Lighthouse.
Shadow coming in, amazing 3K. Unfortunately, just a bit too late. The rest of his team had already died and was already on that respawn, so it was just a little bit too late. I would have liked to see him save that ultimate for this next possible retake.
Yeah, we do see some ultimates online. It's going to be maybe those mines, but Holden getting very low, going to escape back to his team there. It's going to help him get nano boost online, but Shadow going to go down to Xenon. Xenon really getting the better of these Pharah duels so far. Angel going to be able to res Shadow here, though, so we can get a second chance at it. Getting into last fight territory, and Joe King going to take out Shadow. Shadow just cannot stay alive right now. Oh, 95 to ultimate. Holden is going to go down. Daz is going to be able to take out Joe King, and Xenon takes down Ember. Joe King back in the fight now, thanks to Kurtz. Xenon, though, not to be denied, is going to take out Daz, and that last pick doesn't seem like it's going to be enough, as just struggling to get on point, not going to be able to. Nice first map here for the side of Velocity Force.
Very nice map by Velocity Force. I was worried when they ran out with that Winston going against that Hog Zarya combo. Running a Winston Zarya, going up against that Hog Ball combo. Winston, not a lot of damage against a Hog, so I was expecting a lot more diving, but he played a real good front line, was able to absorb a lot of damage while his DPS were able to pop off on the flanks.
Yeah, absolutely. We did see quite a bit of work there from Xenon. Both Mercies played pretty well, I think, as well. You know, you don't really always talk about the healers, don't always talk about Mercies. I remember that being something very much talked about in competitive Overwatch, but you know what? I really like the Mercy play. Really enabled the Pharahs here, as we see we're going to stick on the Mercy Ana from both teams, as it looks like it's going to be another Widow duel, but Shadow now on that Genji that we talked about earlier. It's going to be all about farming that Nanoblade, as Ember is going to get that first pick here, taking down Joe King. Kurt again with a res. These reses coming in handy here, maybe eliminating that first pick, but Dark Ember says, let's do it again. Takes him out one more time. The fight here going on to point now. Holden has swapped over to that Diva, that more classic dive composition. Xenon is going to take out Shadow, though. This fight is pretty even here, or was, I should say, until Dark Ember was able to take out Clown Dog. Shadow back in it, but Angel Witch going to pay for that with her life there. Holden also getting taken out by Arian K. It could go either way here, but it does seem like the majority of point control, and as I say that, of course, TalonFire is going to strike back with a couple big picks there. Ember just really finding the value on this Widowmaker really early here. It's going to be interesting to see how this ends up forcing the side of Velocity Force to change here, Bishop.
Dark Ember is doing so much value on this Widowmaker. Not only getting kills, but he is a distraction. Reed is diving in, trying to disrupt him. He's leaving the rest of his team defenseless for a counter dive by Daz, Holden, and Shadow. Dark Ember, just by existing, is being super effective right now for TalonFire.
We see that swap onto the Sigma, maybe going to use that shield to try to block some of those Widow sight lines. Kurt takes out Daz, and Daz going to take out Kurt as well. Bit of an interesting trade there, but it does seem like for the time being that TalonFire is going to be able to hold. The push coming in a little slow here from Velocity Force. They do have that Junkrat who's managed to farm up about 60% of that tire. Joe King almost to an ultimate there as well as he takes out Jesus Freak. Anna going down early in the fight with Nano. They don't have that Nano Blade combination. Joe, very nice work with that Deadeye there. Going to find 2, waits to DMAC the Diva and then hits it. That's an easy cleanup on point for Velocity Force.
Joe setting up with a high noon on the ramp. The switch over to the Sigma by a rank. Oh my god, the shield to get the 3K. They say shields are dead, but a Sigma is still valuable. With that rechargeability on a shield, it is still a viable tank to pull out. And we saw it right there.
Yeah, absolutely. It gave him some much-needed space from that Widow as we see Dark Ember now forced to switch off. Here comes that Nano Blade, though. Going to go right in there, taking out Xenon, taking out Joe King, taking out Kurt. Dark Ember going to get in on the action, make it a 5K for Shadow. Excellent work there. I'd be a little mad at Ember if I were him. Breaking the feed there.
That's a Nano Blade. What can I say? When you have no defensive ults on or up with Kurtster only at 83%, Nano Blade's going to get a team wipe. You just have to shake it off and come back as Joe King picks up 2 on the retake.
Yeah, talking about a team wipe, it seems like that's what Velocity Force is going for. Big Diva Bomb, but it isn't going to find anything thanks to a well-placed shield from Arian K. Reed going to take out Shadow here. They're just rolling to the point, killing people at random as they go. Daz does find some revenge there onto Joe King, but he's just going to be staggered now in the back line here. Doesn't really... They let him get back. Very impressive play there from Daz, finding his way back to his team, making sure that he doesn't get staggered there.
The key here is 6 ults online for Velocity Fire. If they want to control this point for the rest of this 50%, they have to stagger these ultimates one at a time. Get a team wipe with 1 or 2, as we have the Sigma ult coming in, picking up the kill on Jesus Freak.
Yeah, Velocity Force here really putting in a lot of work. They only use 1 ult there. They still have 5 more online. That Nano Blade combo not coming back online anytime soon. The Grav also not even close. This could be a really tough retake here as we're getting into final fight territory on the map here. Things aren't looking good for TalonFire.
TalonFire does have that Mercy Vow and a high noon coming in. Expect them to open up with a high noon, maybe build some space, allow Shadow to dive in with Daz, get that blade up, and maybe we'll see a non-nano blade coming.
We do see the Nano Monkey here early. Reed also has that Primal Rage. He uses it, but it gets insta-slept. Oh, but he gets woken up and kills 2. That is tough, whoever ended up waking up that monkey there. Daz gonna strike back with 1 there. The beat comes out from Kurt, just getting rid of a lot of that damage coming in. Joe King is going to take out Holden with the high noon. Arian K also finding a pick. This is definitely not going the way of TalonFire. It seems like Velocity Force is going to clean it up. They just have to stop Daz from getting on, and they do. First map goes to Velocity Force. Very well played.
Velocity Force was able to stagger their ultimates in that last 50% of the map. They were able to get value using 1 or 2 per team fight, and they were able to come into that last fight, popping the high noon, popping the monkey ult to move them around and disrupt their push. And I want to point out just Joe King's high noon. He popped it so far away from point, but was able to speed boost with Kurster to the ramp where they immediately forgot he had his high noon up and was able to pick up a nice 2K.
Yeah, that's tough ult to get value out of sometimes from what I remember, especially during the double shield meta. It was borderline impossible, but still, you know, sometimes you got a Diva on the field, sometimes you got a Sigma, all these different things, and plus you're forced to kind of stay there just waiting to get headshot while you wait for it to charge up. So really good work there to get value out of an ult that sometimes doesn't find a lot of value.
Yeah, McCree High Noon, especially in the later metas where Genji was super prevalent, sometimes maybe used mainly as a defensive ult. You see that Genji hop in the sky, you pop it. That Genji's going to stop swinging to get the deflect up, buying your team time. So seeing him be able to get kills without the shields now, it's pretty impressive to see McCree back slowly making his way into a pretty high pick character.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very, very good work there from, and I think both teams, we didn't just see a roll on either point. We did see TalonFire get to 88% on that second one, and they did get about 50% on first point as well. So even though they lost 2-0, I don't think it was a roll 2-0 like you can sometimes see on those control maps where one team just looks so dominant. I think both teams here are, I would say, somewhat evenly matched, with Velocity Force really showing up early here and winning a convincing victory, but I don't think TalonFire's out of it yet.
Oh, absolutely not. TalonFire, they have playmaking potential. They are a good team. We saw that on the Nano Blade on Shadow with a almost perfect 6-man blade. I believe he only got 5, but it was a quick, clean ult. TalonFire has the ability to win these team fights. They just have to be able to build these ultimates up faster and be able to use them before Velocity Fire.
Yeah, and it is going to be interesting here to see how, I guess, Shadow still is able to find maybe those combinations here. Dark Ember has been subbed out, I believe, for Taken Wallet, who's going to come in on the DPS. So it'll be interesting to see how that DPS lineup sort of adjusts there. I also do want to talk about the tank line for TalonFire. They looked really good here. Holden and Daz finding space, making space for Shadow and Dark Ember to really go to work, keeping the enemy tanks off the tanks. Or sorry, keeping the enemy tanks off the back line, excuse me. They looked very good creating space, but Reed and Arian K also did a very good job. That switch to the Sigma for Arian K, that was excellent work, and I think it was really what turned the tides on the Ruins there.
Oh, absolutely.
Which tank duo do you think? We got Dorado next, I believe. What tank duo do you think is really going to show up here? Who do you think is going to sort of win the day on the tank line?
Daz and Holden, seeing Daz play that Roadhog, he was getting great flank potential. Dorado is a good Roadhog map. There's a lot of, you don't need to worry about your supports too often, especially on point A. There's a lot of places to hide, so you can abandon the team and go on these great flanks and pick off their supports. So I think Daz needs to be able to do that, and I think he has the ability to do it. And Holden has been playing a great semi-main tank with his ball, maybe hopping back onto a Winston or maybe going onto the Zarya. But I think TalonFire's tank line have the potential to really pop off on this next map.
Yeah, and we talked about the support lines a little bit after that first map. Both the Mercies played well. We saw a lot of Ana at play as well. Maybe a few big sleeps coming in on this map. We're going to have to see if the Ana sticks here or if it's going to be something a little bit different. So we see the teams coming in with their preliminary picks. They may not stick on them, but we do see a Sombra out. What's Sombra been up to? As we see Reverati is now subbed in, maybe to play that Sombra, maybe a bit of a specialist. What's Sombra's place in this meta? Does she get a lot of run?
Oh, Sombra gets a pretty decent amount of run, especially with the no shields. You can farm up EMP very quickly, especially with Hog being as prevalent as he is. A good hack on a Hog during a team fight just eliminates that character. His fat blubber builds her EMP almost immediately. So if you're just farming and getting out, farming and getting out, you can get quick, easy team wipes off that EMP ultimate. It's a great setup, especially now with the no double shields to deny her hacks. She's actually very, very comfortable in this meta.
Yeah, and it does seem like Holden Diva's always been a bit of a battery for Sombra as well. So it's going to be interesting to see if Reverati can farm up that EMP fast enough to find value on the character. Joe King going to be hanging out on that Tracer to start here. Maybe looking to pressure out the backline, maybe looking to get in there, deal with Angel early in these fights. So definitely going to be interesting here. A bit of a setup on the rooftops to start out here for Daz and Holden. Shadow also hanging up there, maybe looking to get a one-tap on somebody with those Junkrat mines. But Taken Wallet is going to strike first. A well-placed Dynamite is going to take Joe King out of this first fight. Sombra, though, on the flank, going to get behind Angel here. Not going to go for the hack there, though. Maybe going to look for a bigger HP target. Holden is going to take out Kurt. And it seems like this first fight is going to go the way of TalonFire. We see Taken Wallet also taking out Arian K, and this is just not a good start here if you're Velocity Force. They're really seeming seemingly stymied by this rooftop positioning, all this high ground.
You're going to have to get Reverot up into that high area around their supports, get a hack off on that Mercy, initiate a dive, because that's the only way Daz is going to have any ability to get in there and get a quick kill if you can get that hack off.
Talk about getting a hack off, though. Looks like Taken Wallet might have just turned his hacks on there. Just going to find these dome pieces, no problem. Taking out all of these flankers with seeming ease on that Ashe. Some really good skill there from Taken Wallet. Coming off the bench hot. Sometimes it's tough to jump in after watching your team play for a match, but it does not seem to be an issue for Wallet here. This is going to be a dive in from Reed here, finally forcing Junkrat off of that high ground. The Bob comes out, though. He's just going to hang out there on point. Shadow is going to take out Clown Dog, but not before Reverati and Clown Dog also find the kills. Bob, though, just going nuts down there on the point. He does a great job of not letting them get any percentage there, as it's the two tanks on site now. A hack onto Holden, though. He is going to get stuck down there. All of a sudden, he's out of mech. Jesus Freak also down. Velocity Force desperately trying to clean up these enemies on point. The res does come in, and that is going to take out Holden with a well-placed pulse bomb. Joe King just trying to clean things up here. Him and Reed managed to, and finally the cart is moving for Velocity Force.
TalonFire had a very good opening defense right there. They played angles, they played high grounds. I want to point out Angel Witch diving into the middle of an ongoing team fight and getting the res off. You love to see risky reses coming out by your supports. It really builds confidence when you can get your tanks back up. Didn't work out there, but they were able to stall it a couple seconds.
And a big hack here onto Daz. He gets pushed all the way out here. He is going to finally, when that hack wears off, get back in there on that ultimate. But Joe King going to take out Jesus Freak. This is a big ultimate engaging fight here, as we see Reed and Arian K both using those support ults, and Kurt and Clown Dog using the support ults. Rather, Reed and Arian K use the tank ults. So they held on to the DPS ults, but used just about everything else. Is that going to put them at a disadvantage here, Bishop, as we see them just cleaning up the rest of these staggers here?
Absolutely not. That was a one team fight. You love to see discipline coming out from your DPS characters, your DPS players. You are sitting on the biggest ult next to Grav that you have, the EMP. You would have hated to see them have to commit it to that capture. You have it now for a clean engage. Watch them go in hard with it and try to take this next point in one fight.
Yeah, absolutely. As Reed gets stuck there on a trap, that could be all they need to engage here. Main tank is down. Holden is going to dive right in there. Gets antied and I think hacked as well, so he's going to lose the mech there. But Wallet just going nuts, finds 3, but why not? Great headshot there on the Tracer, and Shadow is going to clean things up as well. Huge retake there from TalonFire. Velocity Force looking kind of stuck for a second. They might have to re-engage with some ultimates here.
Wallet was able to pick up those great 3Ks, was able to rebuild his Bob. They have that ability. Expect Velocity Force to regroup. They're going in on this EMP. You know they're going into it, so you have to get that Bob off before the Sombra can get in and click you.
Yeah, absolutely. Remember, Bob does get hacked as well, though. Not going to really be an issue, though, as Shadow's going to find a couple now. Taking Wallet and Shadow looking great on this DPS line, finding every kill. Shadow finally goes down to Reed, but it's just the tanks left on point. They're going to have to back out. They definitely cannot die here. Be a lot of time wasted, as we see Arian K try to get out and does not manage to get out, actually. Daz getting super low and hacked, is supported by the rest of his team there. The ult's coming in from both sides now. Diva Bomb may be a little too high there from Holden, but Daz just swinging around on that monkey ult. Reed also doing the same. Here comes a Riptire. See if we can get some more value here than Shadow's last Riptire. We're going to go over these rooftops here, and down it finds 2. Great route there from that Riptire. They had no idea where it was coming from, and Reed forced to jump out as Taken Wallet. Man, he's finding every single headshot he needs to here. Just Joe King does not look comfortable on that Tracer coming up behind him there. Just gets absolutely donked yet again.
Velocity Force is at a loss at how to engage TalonFire. They're set up perfectly on this high ground, and they're implementing these dives to meet them before they can set up. It is a great defensive strategy, and they're just sitting on all of these ults, and they're not using them.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Joe King find a very important pick there onto Daz. Probably no res going to be able to come in all the way out in that sort of no man's land. The high ground push coming in now. Taking Wallet, getting kind of pushed off of this high ground here, but a huge E from Holden stops Arian K's grab in its tracks. Shadow and Angel Witch both fall though, and Holden loses mech. So this fight still may not go the way of TalonFire despite that excellent eat there. Velocity Force just seemingly has a little bit too much. Daz gonna stall it out on point here. Very good play there from that Winston. Maybe a little bit ambitious to try to escape here. Although Kurt can't quite hit the jump train he needs to get up onto the high ground. And now with a Mercy back and his health maybe getting back online, Daz looking to get that monkey ult off and continue contesting Kurt. Down to 10 seconds here. We are in last fight territory if TalonFire can stop this point. Velocity Force looking to prolong the round and tap this here. Bob going to come in, but he does get hacked. Not before he takes out Kurt, though. Shadow going to take out Reed. This does not look good for Velocity Force, as all the picks are going the way of TalonFire. Joking does take out Holden, but Jesus Freak sucking everybody with that Moira. No problems here for TalonFire. That's a very good hold on second point there.
That was a very good hold. Daz diving in when the payload was still on road section, able to stall it out just long enough for his team to get the respawns in, is able to then escape and regroup with his team to re-engage perfectly. That is such a good play by Daz.
100%. Yeah, really great use of the monkey tech there, and just couldn't quite catch up with him. They almost got him up on that high ground, but he was able to get back far enough. And Angel Witch coming in, getting a very good angle there to be able to get that beam on him when they needed it. And man, Taken Wallet he's looked like really something else off the bench.
Well, when you're sitting on the bench and you're watching Dark Ember just going off the rails on Widowmaker on the Ilios, you are like, hey, I need to earn my spot on this team. When I get a chance, I'm going to do something. And Taken Wallet did something.
He's done a few things, man. Any one of those shots on that Tracer would have been awesome, but I think he hit like 4 or 5 there, just killing the Tracer like he's born to do it. So now it's going to be an interesting look here as we see the Ashe on both sides and that Pharah from Joking. So maybe Joking going to look to challenge Taken Wallet maybe a little bit differently this time. Instead of on the flank, maybe challenge him from the sky. We see Shadow on that Doomfist going to be able to get aggressive here, especially into that double shield composition. Doomfist excellent at punching through. Maybe a little scouting here, or maybe just a lucky pick. So we see Daz and Holden trying to take some early high ground here. Holden going to have to back away, though, so he doesn't lose that mech early. Lots of damage here off the high ground. Gonna take this card space for free. And talking about free, Taken Wallet with those headshots. They seem free. Man, great shot onto that Mercy there. Kurt going down early. That is not good for Velocity Force. Holden going to take out Joking as well, who's left without that Mercy, kind of just exposed on that Pharah. So we see Reed here just sort of getting bullied. Does manage to take out Holden's mech, but Shadow also going to find Arian K, so no tanks left. This is just going to be a pretty clean team fight here for the side of TalonFire as they're still moving that cart. They've almost already captured first point, as Velocity Force was not able to contest that even once.
I would have loved to have been inside TalonFire's comms during that initial team fight. The coordination between Shadow and Taken Wallet was immaculate. Shadow was able to punch the Reinhardt, punch Reed, drop the shield long enough for Taken Wallet to kill Perster on the the Mercy. Unbelievable. As Joking pops off with a 3K. 4K.
Make it a 4K. Why not? Joking kind of mad maybe that his team didn't touch the point, because he's just flying through and wiping the entire side of TalonFire. That's a team kill. Why not?
That is a great job by Joking, by just going in and shooting the enemies. You have ultimates now, you stopped their momentum, and you're now at a new choke point. Set up, hold, use your ultimates before they can.
Yeah, and they cut about a minute already out of that pretty prestigious time bank that we saw after that roll down on first point. So Velocity Force trying to stabilize here. We do now see that lack of shield coming in. No real main tank here for the side of TalonFire. They've got Holden and Daz on that Hog Diva lineup. Joe King going to take out Shadow. Pharah very adept at dealing with a Doomfist. It's going to be interesting to see if Shadow decides to switch. Is going to get rezzed and taking Wallet. Just going to go to work here, setting Bob in to take out Clown Dog while he takes care of Pharah. Shadow is going to take out Kurt and Reed. Taking Wallet's Bob just going to work as well. Great team effort there. Especially, you know what? Bob is a pretty valuable part of that team.
Chunk, I think I can say it. Bob did something. Bob went into the back line, was able to clean up, take all eyes away from the choke and onto the Bob, allowing the rest of TalonFire to push in and cleanly wipe Velocity. That was such a good Bob.
We see a lot of ults for both sides, but 6 here. Oh, Holden with the 3K bomb. You know, I was going to talk about 6 ults, but you know, if you kill 3 people, the ults aren't really going to matter that much. As Wallet's going to take out 2 more. Really excellent work here. They're going to have to get Bob off point, and they do. They also take out Reed to keep that cart moving. They're going to kill Bob here, and it's going to be tough to recontest this if you're Velocity Force. They're in a bit of a precarious position here. They just need to touch this point here to win. The ult does come in. It's going to try to lift, but taking Wallet takes out Aryan K, taking care of that ult. Holden going to take care of Clown Dog, taking Wallet again, finding Reverati. He has been unstoppable this match. Bob going to come in and do something again. That's going to be it. Taking Wallet's map. Dorado, apparently.
I'm speechless. So many people might say, hey, that was a lucky Diva bomb by Holden. No, that was planned. He saw the Reinhardt out of position down underneath bridge, and he went for the Hail Mary and threw it up where he knew they had no cover in that large open area. And 3K going into final fight, denying them the ability to reset for a 6v6, that was such a big play by Holden. You cannot stress how big of a momentum shift going into the final fight that was by Holden.
It's nice to feel appreciated.
Yeah, that was really some good plays there by Taken Wallet. He owned that map. I wouldn't be surprised to see him hang around for at least another map here. Try to see if maybe this lineup that they've got in can build some momentum for TalonFire as we do find ourselves tied 1-1. Seems like we may be taking a bit of a halftime break here, only a few minutes, so be sure to stick around. We are going to be back with more action. Velocity Force and TalonFire tied 1-1. Stick with us. Welcome back, folks. I'm Chunk. With me here is Bishop, and we are happy to bring you some more Owlet action here. We've got TalonFire and we've got Velocity Force tied 1-1. We saw some really great DPS play bring TalonFire back from the first map, which Velocity Force, they looked really strong on. So we're going to be moving into King's Row for our third map, Bishop, and I suppose we'll get right back into it. What do you expect to see here? Do you expect to see maybe more of that taken wallet carry, or is it going to be something more along the lines of what we saw on map 1?
Well, especially on the on point A and point B of King's Row, long sight lines, great for hit scan from a distance with a Widowmaker and Ashe. So from what we saw, TalonFire's DPS lineup, especially their hit scans, are really good at clicking heads and torsos from a distance. So if I'm Velocity Force, I'm keeping that in mind, and I may pull out that Sigma to get another shield, maybe get that shield to protect you from those sight lines, maybe play corners. I don't expect straight fights. I expect Velocity Fire to hide around the corners to try to avoid taken wallet, and from what we can see, Dark Ember, who is now back in the lineup.
Yeah, and we do see Dark Ember back here. It's going to be that double hit scan look maybe coming out here. The Ashe from Wallet and the Widow from Dark Ember. We see a lot of enabling there too from Angel Witch. Going to get that damage boost onto both of them. We saw a pretty hard pocket on Wallet last time. Something we didn't really discuss before the break, but Angel Witch really did enable Wallet there for a lot of those kills with that damage boost.
Yeah, many of competitive games of me playing Mercy and my Ashe screaming at me, why are you not pocketing me? It's not the most prestigious job to do in Overwatch, but it's a vital part. A damage boost Ashe is terrifying, and you get Bob so much faster. So expect Angel Witch to be attached by a leather.
Absolutely. Mercy does a great job of enabling DPS characters, and that res has really been coming in handy for both teams. We've seen Kurt on that Mercy as well. Going to start on that Lucio here, though. Double shield with the May. Bit of a more classic comp, something I'm more used to seeing. Going to probably try to get onto that point, maybe around that statue as fast as possible. Early fire strike here from Daz on that super classic Season 10 style Ryan Zarya. So we see that it's going to be Ryan, Zarya, Anna as sort of one unit, and then the double sniper Mercy as the other unit going to be playing together.
I love this rotation, denying the high ground from both of their hit scans, taking the initiative to not give them those sight lines. I love this move by Velocity.
What a massive dynamite, though. Taken Wallet going to have Bob very soon. Dark Ember going to be the first pick, though, as Arian K takes out 2. Angel Witch also going down. It may not matter if there's a Bob or not here, as that well-placed main wall comes out. Reed just going to absolutely alpha on Diaz there. And Joking going to take out Holden. This is just going to be a cleanup here. Point is 100% going the way of Velocity Force here.
Velocity Force took the halftime and used the break well. They discussed strategies. They saw that they were losing the hit scan fights, so they denied them the ability to use the hit scan. They did a quick rotation, and I love this. Now it's a straight up battle in mid. Oh, big shatter coming in by Daz.
Yeah, Daz doing a great job there, finding the opportunity, and Wallet following up with that dynamite there. Really good work there for TalonFire. Sort of get themselves a little bit of space here. They're not going to be able to stop the cart from moving up to that next choke point, so that's where the rest of the fighting is going to take place until Velocity Force can push it further. We do see 3 ults online for them and 2 online for the side of TalonFire. First ult going to come in. It's going to be a Deadeye, and it's going to find 2. Taken Wallet and Jesus Freak both going down. Dark Ember on that Doomfist does take out Xenon, and Jesus Freak does get rezzed, but it is not going to be enough. Maybe, you know what? Maybe it is going to be enough, as we see Dark Ember with yet another punch in there, and now the Nano Doom. Huge charge coming in there. Meteor Strike grab combo, and that's going to be enough to hold the point and then some, as we see Dark Ember push Joking all the way back to the spawn there. Very impressive.
Joking was able to get a quick 2K, allow Velocity Force to try to retake the initiative after getting destroyed by Daz's 4-man Earth Shatter. Unfortunately, TalonFire, they committed ults, and in Overwatch, when you commit ults, you win the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. It committed a lot of ults. Talk about ults here, though. This time it's going to be Reed. Nano on him as well. A big Earth Shatter comes in. It isn't really going to be able to find any kills, and the beat is now going to come out here. Taking Wallet's Bob is going to find a kill, however. A lot of people staying alive here. Daz not going to be able to manage the feat, though. Joe King is going to take him out. The res comes in. Daz is back in the fight here. Joe King pushing up with that high noon. Isn't going to find anything. So now we've got a bit of an even fight here at the next corner. A wall comes out. Very well placed from Xenon there. It is going to be the death of Daz, as it's Dark Ember just flying around on that Doomfist. He does finally get brought down, though, by Kurt. Now before he takes out Joe King. The push still moving forward here, as it seems like TalonFire are going to try to fall back. May does not want to let them, though, as Holden is going to try to get out with that charge and fail. Great fight there from the side of Velocity Force.
Xenon pulling out, I counted, I believe, 5 walls to deny and split the enemy of space utilities. Xenon using the Mei well. Mei is a character you don't see too often anymore, especially with the changing of the meta. But seeing Xenon use it to this effectiveness is very impressive.
Talk about impressive. We see that Doomfist barely managing to stay alive there. He does have his ultimate up, though, so he's probably going to get a little bit aggressive here. Talk about another wall, though. Daz falling very early in this fight. Xenon also well-placed shot there onto Angel Witch, so no res as well. Reed is going to take care of taking Wallet, but the Doomfist ult not going to find anything. The Nano comes out here, but it is going to be completely denied by Joe King and Kurt. Going to take out both of those characters very quickly. Just an absolute roll right up to the spawn doors here for Velocity Force. Taking Wallet does take out Joe King. He's got some free fire here onto the point. Bob is going to come in for that all-important last stall here. He's going to look for another kill, but can't quite land his shots. Clown Dog is going to take him out, but Diaz comes in with a huge shatter here. The grab comes in for Holden as well. Zarya Bubbles stopped the team from getting frozen, but Clown Dog with a massive anti. Arian K going to take a dive off the point there, but the pick's still going the way of a Velocity Fire here, or Velocity Force here, excuse me. Xenon taking out Dark Ember, and it's just Wallet left stalling on the point. It's not going to be enough here, as that Mei wall going to deny a last contest. With 3 minutes in the time bank, Velocity Force completes King's Row attack.
257 on King's Row is a pretty good time bank. You are very happy with that if you are a Velocity fan right now. I want to point out Xenon popping the Blizzard, saving his Reinhardt from going off the map so they can keep that 6-man presence on the point. That was such a good Blizzard to deny space on the recontest and save the Reinhardt from being charged off the map.
Yeah, Xenon has really been the difference maker here for the side of TalonFire, or sorry, for the side of Velocity Force, putting TalonFire really on the back foot the whole game, trying to sort of make up for those Mei walls and how they split the team up. But Daz just kind of getting bullied on that Reinhardt by the entirety of the enemy team. Can't get around those Mei walls, can't stay close enough to his team to make the Mei wall ineffective. It's just a really tough position to be in if you're a Reinhardt player, and we are going to see here on the attack going to maybe look for that Roadhog Diva composition instead. We did see this work pretty well for them at some points, and it's going to be Wallet on the Widow, Ember on the Genji. Looked at Wallet's career profile, doesn't have nearly as much experience on the Widow. Gonna have to see how that pans out. And also a Zenyatta. Do we see a lot of Zen Bishop these days?
Zen is slowly making itself back in the meta. With the lack of shields, you're able to get the Discords on and able to follow up on it, so you see a lot more Zen than you used to.
Yeah, absolutely. As we see Wallet, maybe inexperience, not much of an issue for him, as he's going to take out Joe King very quickly there. Well-placed headshot. He's going to advance to a bit more aggressive of an angle here. Holden going to move in and save Ember. Fight is going to take place mostly on the point here, as Daz going to pull Xenon right onto that point, taking him out of the fight. No problem here. Reed just going to try to get on there, waste a little bit of time here. Big ante comes in. Reed steps out of the immortality field, though, and Holden makes him pay for it. Joe King is able to take out Daz, but Wallet finding yet another pick here, this time onto Clown Dog. Kurt gets very low, and Holden, responsible for most of that damage, Taken just hops up and finishes him off. Arian K is going to take out Angel Witch, but Arian K is the only one left here to contest. Not going to be enough, as TalonFire, also going to be moving pretty quickly here, takes that first point.
That is a perfect example of why shields are slowly on the way out, especially with the newest patches coming, or excuse me, the newest patches that have come. You can't contest point if you're the Reinhardt. Reed is just getting shredded. He can't drop his shield, and the whole time Daz is just sitting there poking his shield. The reason you're seeing a lot of Hog is because you're able to just tank damage and dish damage, while Reed has to then walk towards the enemy.
Yeah, we've seen this double shield on defense now from both teams, and it hasn't seemed to work for either team. Maybe Velocity Force will get the message here and make a switch, but Daz sending a message of his own, maybe, taking out Xenon again here, saying that Daz now might be the difference maker. And he's going to get pushed here, this time by Arian K, but that means they're going to have to give up a lot of point pressure. We see Dark Ember trying to get into that back line here. Sleep gets deflected there, and now Bob kind of just taking a nap on the site there, is going to manage to contest the point though. Daz and company just kind of stuck there on the point, not moving anywhere, but Holden with a very nice Diva Bomb, going to take out Clown Dog. Arian K, maybe a little self-damage there. That's going to be a pretty clean wipe here for TalonFire. They are moving very quickly now through this second point as well. They're going to have a huge time bank on third point.
They're keeping Reed on the Reinhardt. I would swap him over to either a Zarya or a Mirror Hog. They're playing for the Shatter. They see they don't have any shields. They're expecting a clean 4 or 5-man Shatter. But it's just they're losing time because they can't engage properly.
Yeah, and these engages definitely not going their way, as we see Joe King get yanked away from his team there. Does manage to survive thanks to some good usage from their healers. Arian K goes around the side there with that Sigma ult, gaining some pretty impressive high ground. Gonna have to give it up though. Gets discorded and burned. Looks like Angel going to use the trance, and the nano comes out at the same time. All these ults coming in. Dark Ember, we've seen him do them before. Again with a very big nano blade here. Taken Wallet does go down to Xenon's Riptire, but Xenon going to take the long way down and not give Dark Ember the satisfaction there. Dark Ember looking for a bit of a spawn camp.
Daz on these flanks as he picks off the Ana, forces her to use her abilities. You cannot not look at this Hog on the flank. You need to keep an eye out for her.
Yeah, as we see Xenon keeping an eye out for him, coming back on that Meg, you're going to freeze him and kill him there. Bob getting the finishing blow there, but Ember still going to work, taking out Joe King and Kurt. Doesn't seem like it's going to be enough here, as Arian K on that Zarya now, going to be able to melt through those Genji deflects and that defense matrix, so pretty good switch there again for Arian K. We saw it on the first map, we've seen it again here, making the right switches.
This is where we need to take a look right now at this economy. You have TalonFire coming in with a Bob. They have a Genji Blade. Velocity, they don't have anything right now. You have to expect they're going to click Q, so you have to spread out and force them to use their movement abilities to get to you. You cannot get a team wipe on cart right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Play back a little bit, make them use a lot of ults, or, you know, play super aggressive and make them use ults too early. Same thing goes for both, but Arian K is going to be the first to fall, falling quite literally down as Daz hooks her into the pit there. Taken Wallet does take care of Reed there, but Taken Wallet's Bob is going to take the long way down as well. Wallet doesn't really care though. He is just going to kill everything in front of him. Dark Ember getting in on the action as well. Daz, Dark Ember, and Taken just fragging out here, seemingly always in that kill feed as we see Daz again onto Arian K. It's just Reed kind of stuck here on point. They seem to be staggering out these contests here, as this time it's Joe and Kurt coming in. Dark Ember with another nano blade, Wallet with a couple shots there, and that's going to be it. So a better time bank here for the side of TalonFire, only by 3 seconds though.
Daz with big hooks, using the environment, able to hook into the well. Daz has been getting such value out of the Hog. Velocity was able to hold him to within 3 seconds, so it was a good hold. Now it's pretty much a straight up back to basics, normal King's Row. It's as if that last round didn't happen. We're back in that first round game mode right now.
Yep. And teams only now with 2 minutes. I believe that's a change that happened when I was gone too, getting reduced as close down to 2 minutes as possible here. It's gonna make our game go maybe a little bit quicker. We can get on to a map 4, which we are guaranteed to have. If that map 4 doesn't go the way one of these teams wants it, though, whoever ends up coming out on top here, we will also go to a map 5 in this best of 5 series. So we do see again Joe on that Widow, Ember on the Genji, Wallet on the Ashe, and Xenon on the Mei. So we see everybody kind of on their heroes, you know, in terms of the DPS. Daz still on that Hog, Jesus Freak and Clown Dog on the Annas. We haven't really seen them switch it up much. Angel and Kurt, sort of those flex supports right now, flexing around to different healers, making things happen.
Keep an eye out for this long rotation. They did it first point. They might do it again, try to take that high ground away. But you got to keep out Daz denying them with the Hog on the left.
Yeah, that double shield is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how Taken Wallet really plays into it. No BAP or no Zen this time either for TalonFire, so they're not going to have as much shield break. Daz doesn't care though. He's going to take out Xenon yet again. Daz going to pay for it with his life though. Joe King landing that finishing blow. Seems like also Darkest Ember gets stuck out there. Those are a couple tough early picks there. Gonna use that shield block, taking Wallet's dynamite, and he's forced to fall back as well. So just 3 left on this point here, and Jesus Freak sort of off to the side. No charge there from Reed, and Holden is going to manage to take him out. Kurt, though, taking care of Angel Witch and Holden's mech. Taking Wallet, finding Joe King. This fight is going back and forth here. Could go either way as we see Ember take out Xenon and Kurt. Holden does finally go down to Arian K. The ticks are on the site now. Arian K going to maybe try to back off of this here. Does get killed there. Ember finding the needed picks. And about 45 seconds, 1, maybe 2 fights if you're quick.
That was such a good retake. TalonFire coming in, down a man and down a Diva mech, and they were still able to retake it off the back of Dark Embers dashing in and Daz on the flank. That was textbook retake when you're down on abilities and manpower.
Yeah, absolutely.
Big early pick on Daz.
Daz go down early. Xenon, another one of those Mei walls. Dark Ember does get the beat here, allows him to find 3 with that blade despite the lack of nano. Does get nanoed afterwards though. Reed going to find a couple. Make it 3. It is just a battle here. Ember desperately trying to survive on point, but he's not going to. So it is going to be a cap here. They don't get any extra time. We move into overtime. That means if TalonFire can force them off point, even for just a few seconds, they will stop this push.
And TalonFire has the ultimates to do it. They have the whole hog, they have the bob for the boops, they have a window for extra damage. This is going to be really on Kurt to drop the beat at the correct time.
We see all of these ults coming in now. We've got a Bob and a... Oh, man. Great time to beat there. Also a good sleep onto Bob. Joe King taking care of Taken Wallet, but Daz is just walking forward using that Hog ultimate. Big lift here from Arian K. Also going to be able to... Not going to be able to hide from the Diva Bomb, rather. Holden does find that sneaky angle. Clown Dog is going to finally take care of Dark Ember. Joe King takes out 2. And that is going to be, it seems like, a continuation on this push here for Velocity Force. As they're moving up here with this cart, they kind of have to stick with it, though. They want to keep 3 on to get as much distance as possible. See Arian K on this ball. Haven't seen a lot of that. Maybe swap to it for a stall, but is going to have to stick with it here. Spawn just a little too far away. Ember gets picked early there. Definitely some teamwork from the DPS there. Arian K gets a little bit aggressive here on the ball and gets hooked. Is going to have to fall back, but you know, they don't mind. They have a 6v5 here, as it looks like Ember might have disconnected. Going to have to pause after this team fight, it seems like. Though I think Ember was the lobby leader, and Panda now on the bench takes over. Joe King and company going to wipe that team fight easily, as they were already up 1 going into it. Make it up 2 with that, or no, actually it was just 1, because, you know, Ember was on that Genji. So the owner is not here for the game, so it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to get played out.
That's just an unlucky, you hate to see it.
Yep, it's a tough disconnect, and the owner is on the same team as the disconnect as well. So definitely a tough situation here. It is going to be some kills coming in here. TalonFire does seem like they might have a chance to hold it. A good anti takes out Daz. Xenon also taking care of Holden there. This is not how you want to see the map go.
Especially in such a close map between two competing teams that are so evenly matched. It is not fun to watch a 5v6. So TalonFire definitely has, I would say, a good case to not be happy if this game does not turn out in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And remember, the game ownership goes to the next person to have joined. So it looks like that person who's not here was the one to join the lobby second, and that is just unlucky. Yeah. So it's going to be up to TalonFire here, I believe, to really just make things up, make up for that bit of an error there. And they're gonna have to make it up. Remember, a 5v6 in Overwatch is not like a 5v6 or a 4v5 in, like, for example, Valorant or Counter-Strike, where, you know, the gameplay is more spread out. The fights in Overwatch happen so close together and they happen so quickly, and there's so many different abilities that all go into winning a team fight. When you lose enough of those, which is basically one person's worth, there's just really not much you can do.
Yeah, in those other first-person shooters, as you said, Valorant, Counter-Strike, Call of Duty, you can really rely on your team to just outfrag the other team. In Overwatch, as you said, all characters and team compositions are built around combining ultimates, combining abilities. You shield the Genji when he goes in. You bubble the Hog when he gets hooks. And when you just lose one of those main abilities of your team comp, the team doesn't work because the composition and the characters are built around having all 6 of them. So it's very unfair in Overwatch when it drops to a 5v6 or even worse, a 4v6, depending on how bad the internet is.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to go and see if maybe there'll be a sub here, maybe there won't be, as Darkest Ember was the one to disconnect. Gonna have to see exactly what happens here, as we do, you know, Shadow is on the bench there, waiting maybe to get subbed in here. Gonna have to see exactly how that goes. We are going to go apparently to a quick break here, just until this gets sorted out. When it does, we will be right back with more action and a finish to this Kings Row game, as well as our map 4 and potentially map 5. Stick around. Welcome back, everybody. I am Chunk. With me here's Bishop. We are glad to bring you back to the action here. Our producer Joey has informed us the teams are ready to go. They are back in action, and we are unpausing the action. Getting right back into it here, as it's going to be the attack this time for Velocity Fire. They're going to have to try to match the 3 points capped by Velocity Force. TalonFire is going to have to match that.
And it's possible. It is absolutely possible if you can cap point A quick enough. Unlike in other rounds, this is overtime. Once you cap the point, you don't get any more time. The clock keeps ticking. So the key is to capture point A as fast as possible and push it while you still have time on the clock, because you do not want to go into overtime, especially against a team that just rolled to a 3-point capture. They have the momentum. You have to cap fast and push quickly.
Absolutely. It's going to be all about momentum here, as we see, in Overwatch a lot of the time. It's going to be about the ult economy, about how you use those, how you rotate the ultimates, cycle your ultimates, make sure that you always have one online. Also going to be about taking Wallet and Dark Ember here, finding the damage that they need to find. Daz going to stay in spawn, switch to the Hog here, liking what he sees maybe. Is that double shield, but maybe they're going to go for a more shield break style comp here, as taking Wallet also going to hang out on that Ashe. You see the Mercy there, giving him that damage boost, very important here from Angel Witch. Pushing around Statue here, looking for some purchase, some pick to get them in here. But it seems like Velocity Force is going to play this very passive. They're not going to really worry too much about giving up maybe a little bit of ground there past the Statue. They just don't want to get picked early here. Talk about a pick early! Joe King gets very low and also finds a flash on a taken Wallet, but the duel does not go either way. Arian K is going to get pulled in here, but it's a bit of a bait here, as Daz gets very low, is going to manage to get out. A big anti here from Jesus Freak is not going to be enough, as these shields are just keeping everybody back. Taken Wallet going to go down to Clown Dog, and all of a sudden there's only a minute remaining. Xenon also finding the pick. This fight seems to be lost for TalonFire. Taken Wallet does get res, but not going to be enough. Maybe not the best res there, as now all of a sudden, waiting for these respawns, it's last fight territory.
They took their time. They didn't aggress in when they had the when they forced the rotation into the hotel. What should have happened was they should have all pushed on a point instead of just throwing Daz on there. Left him out by himself. They needed to support their tank.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking about supporting your tanks here, we see Holden and Daz now on that mirror matchup. Taking Wallet also on the McCree here to mirror Joe King. Xenon, though, going to find that first pick. Another huge wall coming in, and Joe King has a great Deadeye lined up, going to take out Ember, who can't keep that deflect up long enough. Daz and Angel Witch also going to go down. Every single ultimate online here. Only 4 seconds to hold the point. They're just going to throw them out there. Why not? And that is going to be the map. Velocity Force takes a 2-1 lead. Doesn't seem like the DC actually ended up mattering, since Velocity Force was able to hold that first point. And despite having all of their team, TalonFire wasn't able to hold that first point when they played. So I guess it's good to see that the DC didn't really matter at the end of things, but a really well-played map from both teams. They both really had strong performances at different times. This has been a really back-and-forth matchup.
Yeah, no, full holding on King's Row is so impressive. King's Row is a very, it's probably the most even map for attacking and defending. So being able to hold a full held on point A is very impressive work coming out for Velocity Force. They and as you said, that DC did not come into play, especially since they were able to maintain full possession of point A. So now for the if I'm TalonFire, the key to the game is to make sure your routers are plugged in. That's the key to the game. If you can play the game, you have the ability to win. This is a very even matchup. When you deny the ability to go 6v6, you're giving them all momentum.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think worked so well on that map for Velocity Force? Because again, we saw, in the moments that matters, it was 6v6, the DC ended up not mattering too much. So what worked so well? Why were they able to beat TalonFire? So I'd say pretty consistently.
Especially in the overtime on that point A defense right there that we just saw, they rotated their shields very well. In this new meta, shields go down super fast. So being able to drop your Rhine shield, throw the Sig shield out just long enough, build up the recharge of that shield. Rotating the shields was way cleaner in that final fight right there. They were able to use the Xenon's May wall. They were able to block off anyone that got a little too aggressive, whether that be Daz on the Hog or Holden on the Sigma. They were able to get quick picks on the tank line through that. So really just good fundamental Overwatch by rotating shields correctly and rotating abilities as May correctly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And yeah, you mentioned the May there. Xenon looked very comfortable on the May, that entire map, just really finding those walls, placing them very, very well. And Daz and Holden really had a lot of trouble, especially Daz, who was kind of, I'd say, the more aggressive of the two tanks. Daz was really getting just stuck on the wrong side of that wall so much, and Xenon seemed to revel in it.
In that first attack they had, where they were a little too slow to aggress on a point, Daz had multiple opportunities to go for the long flank through that mega in the right main building. He could have gone around there, chose to hover around the car instead, and that's where he kept getting caught out by that May wall. If he had aggressed a little faster, perhaps they could have turned the tide and taken point A.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, too, the DPS line there, Dark Ember and Taken Wallet, who looked so strong through so much of the game, they lost a little bit of their fire there, especially on that last full point hold. We saw it there. They played really well in the attack, maybe not as great on the defense, but they still found some picks there. And they just really couldn't get any purchase past that double shield. Like you talked about, the rotating shields, really good play too from Kurtzer and from Clown Dog 500 on those support line. Why did they have such a tough time, do you think?
Well, it really just comes down to they just weren't able to put enough pressure on the shields. You have to shoot shields. They're going for, I can only assume Taken was going for a little too many TNTs, which obviously you have to. You got to build the Bob up. But when you don't have TNT up, you just are shooting the shield. Because if they don't have the shield, that allows Daz, Shadow to push up. That allows Jesus Freak to get some shots in. That allows Angel Witch to get some nades in, maybe some sleeps in, or the other way around.
I think it's the other way around, yeah.
Excuse me, the other way. Yeah, it is the other way around. You're correct. My bad. Jesus Freak able to get some nades in, some sleeps. Angel Witch able to get some shots and build up those Lucio beat drops. So you just got to. Everyone needs to be shooting the shields. Velocity Force shows that they are a shield-oriented team, so you're going to expect maybe the double shield, maybe just the Sigma, but you have to put pressure on the shield or it won't go down. This isn't GOATs anymore. You're not supposed to shoot the shields. This is new shield meta. Shields die. You have to put pressure on.
Man, I miss GOATs.
I miss GOATs
think about GOATs. I miss GOATs. Man, Zarya and GOATs, that was a fun time. We aren't in GOATs anymore, and we have seen the shields work out really well for Velocity Force, so I believe we're going to be going to Volskaya Industries for our next map. Do you expect more shield comps from Velocity Force, or is it going to be more along the lines of, what the current meta is, if you will?
Velocity seems to like the shield, so I expect them to go back to the shield. So probably going to keep that Sigma. I don't know if they'll go the Reinhardt Sig, so they may go a Hog Sigma or a Zarya Sigma, but I expect them to keep that Sigma because it's been working out for them. But TalonFire, I feel like, has a real strong advantage coming into Volskaya since their DPS line is so good at getting quick team fights, getting quick team wipes, especially on a 2 CP map. That can be so massive to get quick rolls in, because if you can team wipe on A, you have ultimates to then team wipe on B in that first push.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be interesting to see, especially here on Volskaya, how this no Sim Bastion, somebody said in the chat, but I was about to talk about how the defenders decide to set things up. Are they going to have some kind of cheese composition with like holding on one of the high grounds, maybe the Bastion, maybe with a maybe have a May hold the choke, something along those lines? Or seems like we might just go for that classic Hog Zarya, Ashe Genji, and I'm going to assume Jesus Freak is going to pick Anna, because we have not seen them on anything else this game, and Angel Witch on the Mercy. And on the other side, well, what does that comp look like to you, Bishop, on the other side?
That comp looks pretty good. The Rhine Zarya is a little blast from the past. Me as being a Rhine player, I'd love to see it. I'm worried that the Reinhardt won't get too much value, especially with the Ashe and the Hog just firing on that shield constantly. But the Echo is an interesting pick. Expect a lot of Xenon to just copy either their Genji or their Hog, and that can be game-changing in a team fight if you pull out a third tank or a Genji that can get Blade in 2 seconds.
Yeah, absolutely. That Echo, definitely an interesting pick here. They know they have a bit of an advantage here, up 2-1. They only need one more map win to claim victory here. That Ashe, though, going to be maybe tough against that Echo. She is going to have some free shots on her in the air there, especially with no Mercy to pocket the Echo. So we're going to have to be very careful. They do rotate very nicely onto site here. Echo gets antied and super low, but Joe King is going to take out Jesus Freak. Taken Wallet does end up finding Xenon, though, so we are back to an even fight here. Though down a healer could be tough for TalonFire. Clown Dog is going to take out Shadow. Daz does take out Kurt here. This is a tough fight. Could go either way as Reed finds a very nice pin onto Angel. Seems like this is going to go the way of Velocity Force. They're on the point here. They have 4 alive versus only now it's just Daz left on the Zarya. Maybe looking to build up some grav percentage there. Just putting in a little bit of extra damage before he does finally get taken down by Reed with that Fire Strike. First point goes Velocity Force. Definitely a tough hold.
With the lack of shields, it really shows how an Ana can be so powerful. Clown Dog is able to take Daz out of the fight, able to take Shadow out of the fight immediately by denying a heal ability on pretty much the main tank. So they were able to get a quick fight in, and it just, a good Ana can get angles in this meta, can change how a team works. So good plays by the Anas both coming out right now.
Absolutely. As we see a long-range hook here from Shadow. Remember, we saw him earlier on the DPS. Now he's moving over to that Hog, which, you know, is a very transferable skill set. If you think about it. We do see a huge Shatter here coming in, though. Is going to take care of 3 members and Shadow as well. So that's at least a couple ticks there. The Bob also going to come in, just sit there patrolling the site, sort of. There might not be much of a recontest here as we see Ember jump on. Now it's going to be Daz having to touch the point. He gets stuck in a grab. Angel Witch using that Valve does get stuck in a grab, but the Nano Boost is going to save her. Genji Blade going to come in. The Bob here now on point for TalonFire. It is not going to be quite enough here to hold the site, it seems like. Although, Dark Ember does take out Xenon. Reed gets very low and also falls to Dark Ember. Dark Ember finds 3. Shadow finds another. Dark Ember solo holding this point, taking care of everything he needs to. That is a great fight there, as Dark Ember chases down one more.
Taken Wallet is able to get in just as Angel Witch falls with the Nano, able to pop the Bob, deny cap potential, is able to then pick off 2 kills, buying Shadow just enough time to click Q with the whole Hog and clean up the rest of the point. I might say this, classic 2 CP retake. If you're Velocity Force, you cannot pop Bob so early. You have to save it for that retake.
Yeah, absolutely, because you know it's coming, and you know the ults are coming as well, as we see a Grav Blade combination here. The Blade finds 3 off of the Grav, and that is definitely going to put a stop to that push before it even gets started, as Kurt gets really staggered there. That is tough, as it seems like Dark is really in a little too deep here. Might get punished for it, might not, as Zarya is able to bubble him, and he finally gets his dash back online to get out there. Very good work there by the team to sort of push in, and now they're able to back up here, sort of play the space that they've created, and give Taken Wallet some really good sight.
Velocity has 5 ultimates coming up online, so if they're going to make a fight, they're going to charge it up right now and then full commit in about 30 seconds.
Maybe it might happen a little bit sooner as 3 picks come in. Shadow does take out Kurt here. They're on site, though, and there's not going to be a contest. That's a bit of a C9 there, bit of a body block too there from Reed. Very good work, but man, it seems like Kurt sort of baited the tank line out just a little bit too far down that alleyway, and they couldn't get back to point in time to contest.
Before I could even finish my statement about their ult economy, they're already capping. They don't even need the ults. As you said, Kurt's able to bring them down that alley, and Reed is able to deny them the ability to push by committing a shatter at the very last second. That's just a misplay right there by TalonFire, unfortunately, and you hate to see it, especially on 2 CP where one fight makes the difference.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, you don't want to call it a C9 because C9 is sort of where you just step off the point when you need just a little bit more, but that really was, like you said, a misplay. I think TalonFire had a pretty promising retake there on that fight. They lost a few early, but they definitely were not out of things. But what it took to kill Kurt and get that sort of rebound pick was just too much. And because you gave up so much percentage on that snowball, you just really had no time to spare.
The one thing I can say is a 251 defense on Volskaya. It is a 2 CP map. That's not terrible. That's okay. Having Dark Ember be able to pick up a 3K and deny them that final cap, buying an extra team fight, helps them. So 251 is a doable time to tie it up here.
Yeah, absolutely. Volskaya definitely one of those maps that could go, 8 rounds if you're not careful. So not the end of the world if you're TalonFire. They need to look for a good attack here. They seem to be on some sort of dive composition here. They got the Ball, the Lucio, the Mercy, and a couple of dive DPS here. The classic pairing of Genji Tracer. The Ember on that Genji that's worked so well. He's already in trying to farm up Blade. Daz going to go down early to Xenon though. And the anti here on Shadow going to send him rolling around that point, just trying to stay away from any damage here while putting in some work himself. The point here seems to be pretty stable, though. That immortality field keeping everybody up. Not everybody.
Kill on Kurt right there. That's going to hurt them. They need to regroup real quick, get a good dive, probably onto this Junkrat.
Yeah, and Taken Wallet also able to find Clown Dog here. He's just putting in a lot of work, finding these very important kills. Daz going to take out a couple there. Dark Ember also taking care of Xenon. So like we talked about, first point Volskaya, pretty tough to hold. TalonFire, obviously you're glad to cap it. You don't want to end up with a full hold situation like on King's Row. And I think if you're a Velocity Force, you're not too worried. You've got second point. The only issue is going to be that snowball from this cap to the next one.
Yeah, Velocity knows that TalonFire has ultimates coming up. They know they did damage, so their plan right now is play a little spread. They're expecting Dark Ember to have that blade. That is a big pick on a Taken Wallet right now. So expect maybe a dry fight here from TalonFire.
Definitely a little embarrassing there for Taken Wallet. Takes a spill as a result of a very well-placed mine from Xenon. Very good read there by Xenon, as it seems like they're still going to go forward with this push, though. Shadow moving in, sort of just stalling things out as they wait for Taken Wallet to get back. Daz gets pushed back now here. He is on the high ground. He does have ultimate, so he's planning on surviving this. Gonna take out Xenon and Kurt first. Those are the very important kills here. Reed does take out Dark Ember, who did have that blade. So this could be tough here as Angel Witch also falls. It's a bit of an even fight here. The mines are on site. Shadow going to use those to his advantage. Going to take care of Joe King. Jesus Freak somehow ends up off the map over there. That is a little bit tough as well, since you had Beat online. Seems like it's going to be a bit of a tactical reset here at this point. Just not a winnable fight for TalonFire.
Oh, they're going to commit the blade here. They think this is a winnable fight.
They do, and the ults are going to come in to seemingly counter those 3 ults that were just popped there for TalonFire. Wallet and Daz, though, seemingly not getting the message that it's an unwinnable fight. They're finding as many kills as they can here. Right as they're about to get some percentage there, Joe King just pops off, finding 3 pair of headshots onto those DPS who were really trying to put in the work there. Couldn't quite finish the job, and all of a sudden now TalonFire in a really bad position, having committed a lot of ultimates.
TalonFire, they honestly, I don't know what they were thinking. That was a lost fight. They were down on men. Dark Ember saw the opportunity. You gotta you got to respect it. He thought he had the chance, and he got some use out of the blade. He got a couple kills, but unfortunately, Joking was able to pop that bomb and deny any cap in the chaos.
Yeah, absolutely. Back on the site here, it's going to have to be some dry picks, and the ults are going to have to come in fast. Joking goes down. No ults yet for Velocity Force. They seem to think they might be able to hold it without them, though the Immortality Field goes down, and now Kurt is down. Now Aryan K is down. Both of them had ultimates online. The Shatter comes in, but it might be a little bit too late here. All the picks have come in, and so many ults just ended up not coming out for Velocity Force. The dry picks coming in, and now they've got 3 ults to hold the site with. So this seemingly flipped on its head. TalonFire here. Aryan K going to try to take out Shadow with that ultimate. Not going to happen, though. Angel Witch there with that yellow beam, making sure everybody stays alive. The bomb's now on site, also going to stop a contest. The good thing for Velocity Force, not a single tick yet has been taken, and they're recontesting with 5 here. They find 2 picks, Xenon and Joking finding the important ones there. They both also go down, spawn advantage though, definitely on the side of the defenders. So the picks mean a lot more for the defenders. So we see them now just waiting on those respawns, hanging around, wasting as much time as possible. As we see Ember with the blade, cannot kill Kurtz there though. The beat also comes in. Dark Ember does end up able to find 2 there. Shadow going to take out Reed. The kills still all going the way of TalonFire, but not a single tick has yet been taken. Very, very good stall there. Kurt doing a lot of work, and the rest of Velocity Force just making sure that not any point percentage is given up for free here. Just focusing on making sure their time bank has the advantage, and it really does, as we see Aryan K not taking any damage, just spinning around there. He's going to take care of Jesus Freak before Dark Member finally able to bring them down. Reed going to take out Daz, and has that Earth Shatter online if he can get it off. Going to be looking for it here. Super low health though, so has to be very careful. The healing comes in though, now going to be able to take this Earth Shatter out whenever he wants. Joking wins that Tracer duel. Angel Witch going to give him a second chance though. Clown Dog finding Dark Member. Clown Dog on that Moira. No mercy there, as we see Reed taking space, and that's going to be it. What a hold, Bishop. What a hold.
2 CP, 2 CP. Talonfire needs to sound the retreat. They're committing when they are down men. They're wasting time. They need to pull out in group 6. They will pick up a kill on the mines though on Joking.
Yeah, and Joking falling early there could spell doom for Velocity Force. They only need to give up 2 now, as Daz is going to fall to that Earth Shatter. He is in Primal though, so they can't put out enough damage to actually kill him. A Moira ult comes in, that charges so quickly, as we see Jesus Freak now also committing that beat drop. There is a blade online for Ember. That is going to be the game changer. If he can get it off, if he can get a lot of kills with it, he can, as Xenon comes up and punches him against that wall. Big bomb here from Aryan K, going to take care of Shadow, but not before Jesus Freak and Joking will find kills. Angel Witch bringing back Dark Ember here. He is going to have a second chance to get that blade off, but Reed going to slam Daz into that wall there. Still holding on to that blade, maybe waiting for a bit of a pocket here. He's just going to get taken out immediately. Looks like Reed's got the bigger stick, as he's going to just swing through and take care of him. Taking Wallet also going to fall there, and that is going to be our match, unless Angel Witch and Shadow have some sort of magic. But Angel Witch does get booped out of the res here. Shadow the last one on point. Daz going to jump in. One last ditch effort here, but he is not going to be able to do much of anything. Looks like Velocity Force is going to win the game. Score of 3-1. Very great performances from both teams, but Velocity Force, they just managed to come out on top, Bishop.
That's especially in, as you'll probably see in a lot of these minors games and matches, target focus is a key to win. If you watch majors matches, you will see in these long team fights, everyone focusing one target at a time. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen here. I would love to have been in both teams' voice chats to hear the communication. Unfortunately, when you're running these ball Winston combos on Volskaya, the inner memester in you wants to, when you're playing ball, do a spin to win. We saw Shadow doing it for a long part in that long team fight. that makes the team fight a 5v6. You're not doing much damage to any of the characters that are stalling, i.e. the Lucio or the Tracer on the outside, on the outskirts of the point. Shadow's just spinning, not doing any damage, making his team try to get all the kills. And then you have Aaron K, who's doing it on defense, which is where Spin to Win really gets its, good namesake, where you can just spin, nobody's shooting you, and you're stalling. So able to deny capture Aaron K, while Shadow on the ball is unable to help his team deal damage while doing spin.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really just comes down to team focus. You gotta designate a shot caller for your team. You gotta follow up on what they say. If they say shoot Winston, everybody turn and shoot Winston. And right there, that was a classic Volskaya point B, where it just turns into a brawl. It's fun to watch, but it hurts. TalonFire. If I was TalonFire, I would sit down with my manager and do a VOD review. This would be a perfect map to VOD review, see where we went wrong, see how we could build for next week, build momentum off of this loss. And this wasn't a bad loss. Velocity Fire played well, but TalonFire played very well as well. These were two really good teams.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been very, I think, impressive to see. I think both teams really play an even matchup. But Velocity Force, they really kept their cool there, especially on that stall. They stalled so long without giving up a tick. It was really impressive. So before, I believe we're going to have an interview. Before we do that, Bishop, got to pick an MVP here for the game. Who are you going with?
Oh, that is a tough one. That's a very tough one. Everybody played so well. I would love to give it to Aaron K, especially for the spin to win at the end, because it's such a great stalling tactic. But if I have to pick a player of the game for Velocity Force, honestly, it's a toss-up for me between Xeon and Just Joking. It's going to be a toss-up between them. Xeon was able to get a lot of value out of his Mei, especially on King's Row. You don't see Mei being picked too often anymore. So to get value with that is very impressive. And then you have Joking, who even on Ilios, where they lost, was getting a lot of value on his McCree. He was getting a lot of great high noons. Very impressive play by both of them. So it's a toss-up between those two.
Yeah, and actually they did end up winning Ilios, remember? And I think I'm going to go with my MVP pick of Arian K, partially because of that Ilios map. It was really impressive to see them switch onto the Sigma and make things work, take the Widow out of the game without, necessarily having a Widow of their own to work with against that Widow. As we saw Joe King lose some of those early duels, the team sort of said, let's take a breath, let's make the switch. And Arian K looked very flexible on the Sigma, on the ball. I believe we saw them on the Diva as well. Just maybe on the Zarya too. Just a very impressive performance on that tank role. Sort of off tanks and main tanks are sort of gone by the wayside at this point, but just really impressive play on a lot of the off tank characters. And that last map, that stall, a lot of that was them just putting in a lot of work on that ball. Spin to win, baby.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I believe that we have with us, Sempra here, aka Just Joking, who played very well in the match, was in the MVP conversation. How you doing today, Sempra?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good now.
So you guys had a great win. It was a really tough contest all the way. What were sort of your thoughts at halftime? It's tied 1-1. Were you guys confident? Were you a little worried about, TalonFire had just beaten you pretty good on Dorado? What were your guys' thoughts?
Honestly, we just take it how it goes. Like, I don't think we were confident, but we knew that we had the capability to win. Like, we just said, let's hope for the best. Let's play as good as we can, because we're here to improve, right? So we our thinking into round 3 was like, if we lose, we lose. If we win, we win, right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great mentality. And, that honestly will probably win you a lot more games than if you're, playing tight, stressed out, worried about it. I guess the other question I had for you before I turn it over to Bishop is, I talked about your tank players making a lot of switches, but I think everybody really adapted well to the different compositions you guys played. Is like that Sigma comp, like when you bring out the Sigma there, is that something you guys practice a lot, or is that something that was more situational? Like, oh no, there's a Widow that we have to deal with.
That Sigma on King's Row defense, that's like signature for us. Like
Mm-hmm.
we're really good at that. So it's what we play. It's what we're comfortable with. So
Mhm.
we were good with that Widow coming out. Like that double shield against Widow, like really
Yep.
shuts down the Widow. So it was mostly like habit. We just brought it up because we had to, but it worked good against the Widow.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
yeah.
That's great. That's great. Bishop, what do you got?
You bringing up the Widow actually is part of my question. Seeing at how good TalonFire was with bringing out a double hit scan comp, really showed off in Dorado with that Ash Widowmaker. Did you guys, after that game, sit down? Well, obviously you were sitting down at computers. Did you guys take a deep breath and were like, all right, how should we approach? They're running this double hit scan. They're going to keep in both of their hit scan players because it seems to be working. Did you guys talk about any kind of changes to the game plan on how you wanted to approach double hit scan?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like that Widowmaker was really good. There was a moment on King's Row. I peeked the shield out of the shield for a second, and that Widow headshot me. So we were adapting for that Widow. That Widow was really strong. So we just said like don't get caught out, play together. We started playing more death bally comps because that Widow was really taking off our heads, and that was props to that Widow. You were really a problem for us. So we really had to adapt. At halftime, we were like, we have to counter this Widow.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I think that'll do it for our interview tonight. That will also do it for the stream tonight, I believe. We are going to sign off. I'm Chunk. Of course, with me here is Bishop. We've got Joey on the production, who has been excellent for us tonight. Great work tonight, Joey. Bishop, you want to take us out?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. This has been a Miners matchup between TalonFire and Velocity Force in the Owlet Miners division.